said on and up to my inkum, kirikum, kaimo. Watching the tail of mantis flock to my inkum, kirikum, kaimo. Kaimaniero, kirikum, kiro, kaimaniero, kaimo. Pop, 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 billy, inkum, inkum, kirikum, kaimo. To my inkum, kirikum, kaimo. For to shoot that carrion crop to my inkum, kirikum, kaimo. Kaimanero, kirikum, kiro, kaimanero, kaimo. Pop, 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 billy, inkum, inkum, kirikum, kaimo. The old man fired
and missed his mark.
He missed his mark to my inkum, kirikum, kaimo. He shot the old sow
He shot the old sow
right through the heart
right through the heart
to my inkum, kirikum, kaimo.
The old sow died.
The bells did toll. The little pigs prayed for the old sow's soul. They prayed and prayed for the old sow's soul.
My inkum, kirikum, kaimo.
To my inkum, kirikum, kaimo.
To my inkum, kirikum, kaimo.
To my inkum, kirikum, kaimo. Kaimanero, kirikum, kiro, kaimanero, kaimo.
Pop, 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 billy, inkum.
Pop, 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 billy, inkum, kaimo.
Billy, inkum, inkum, kirikum,
Inkum,
kaimo.
kirikum, kaimo.
Kirikum.
Kirikum, kaimo.
Won't you sit down? Lord, I can't sit down. Oh, won't you sit down? Lord, I can't sit down. Oh, won't you sit down? Lord, I can't sit down. 'Cause I just got to having going to look around. Oh, won't you sit down? Lord, I can't sit down. Oh, won't you sit down? Lord, I can't sit down. Oh, won't you sit down? Lord, I can't sit down. 'Cause I just got to having going to look around.
Who's that yonder?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To begin the evening, would you all please rise for our color guard from the U.S. Army West Branch Recruiting Station and remain standing for the national anthem sung by the Fairview High School Choir, led by Mr. Kevin Salisbury. Gentlemen, please remove your caps.
And bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. Good evening, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and the graduating class of 2019. As college president, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to this 50th commencement exercise of Kirtland Community College. I am pleased that so many are in attendance in this auditorium or watching us online to celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates. Graduates, please let me offer my congratulations to you. The awards and degrees you will be receiving are a tribute to your hard work and commitment to higher education. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud of our students and our graduates. They come to us from about 161 communities, with names listed from Ada to Wolverine. They have told us their home address is in 171 zip codes, representing 5 states. Most of them come from an area in Michigan about the size of the state of Connecticut. Those that commute often travel long distances in the cold of a winter morning or in the dark of the evening to attend classes. A majority of them work part-time, some full-time, to pay for their education. As graduates, they are valued members of the workforce and exemplary students when they transfer to a university. Our graduates are my heroes because of their extraordinary effort to further their education and because of their contributions to the quality of life in Michigan and beyond. On behalf of Kirtland employees, I offer my special thanks to family members that are present. I know that you have provided support in many forms, which has helped these graduates complete their education. It is now my honor to introduce the members of the Board of Trustees of Kirtland Community College, along with platform participants and special guests. As I introduce each group, will they please stand to be recognized? I ask that the audience hold their applause until each group is introduced. Please follow my lead. The members of the Board of Trustees are Mr. Jack Kramer, Mr. Ed Perrin, Mr. Roy Spangler, and Mr. Tom Ritter. And if I may have applause for these hardworking individuals. That others that join us on the stage are Vice President of Instructional Services, Dr. Julie Lavender, Commencement Speaker, Mr. Alan White, Honorary Degree Recipient, Mr. William Kuzi, and our faculty representative for this ceremony, History and Humanities Professor, Mr. John Thiel. Let's have a round of applause for these. I also ask you to recognize the commencement marshals seated in the front of the audience. They are Vice President of Business Services, Mr. Jason Brose, Vice President of Student Services and Registrar, Ms. Michelle Viscoschel, Director of Information Technology and Services, Mr. Matt Bierman, Dean of Occupational Programs, Mr. Steve Fosgard, and Director of Library and Tutoring Services, Ms. Deb Shoemaker. I now ask Professor Thiel to lead us in the next portion of the ceremony.
Thank you, Dr. Quinn. So for my remarks, they always give me a script every year, and then I still, students who've had me in class know I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth until it comes out. So bear with me. I just want to say a few words to acknowledge the extraordinary challenges that you've all overcome to get where you are tonight, the things you've gone through that have been both positive and negative in the years you've been at Kirtland and before, to get you to this moment where you're about to walk across the stage. Some of you will, politely shake hands and receive your diploma. Some of you will go, woo! Some of you will scream. Some of you will have family with air horns in the audience. I hope there's air horns in the audience. It makes it more fun. Because we're here to celebrate you, and we should celebrate you. But before we celebrate you specifically, we should also celebrate and acknowledge those who've helped you get to where you are tonight. So if you wouldn't mind, could I have the house lights up for just a couple of minutes? Is that okay? There we go. Good, I can see you all again. I was talking to a sea of darkness. All right. Could we have, will all graduates please stand up for just a second? I'd like you to, and if you've been to a graduation before, you know you're going to be getting up and down a little bit in a second. Would you please look around the auditorium? Find any family and friends who came out to cheer you on tonight and give them a round of applause. They've all made sacrifices too to help get you where you are. While you're standing, stay standing, please. I'd like you to also look over to, this would be to my right, to your left, and you'll notice in the front corner up here is Kirtland's illustrious faculty. Could we have a round of applause for them? And finally, if we could look around, if there are any other Kirtland staff members here, any other college employees, anywhere in the auditorium, would you please stand and we can give you all a round of applause as well. There's a few, all right. Okay, now graduates, you can sit down, but not for long. Keep the house lights up for just a second. It's a bit of a cliche. We didn't invent this. We're not the only ones that do this, but I love it. I have no plans to retire this little bit. Would all of this year's graduates who graduated from high school within the last 3 years please stand and be recognized? Thank you. You can be seated. I'm going to try a few. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a lot of people, but with all of our graduates who obtained any college credit through dual enrollment before they graduated from high school, please stand. Thank you. With all graduates who have worked at least part-time while attending Kirtland, please stand. Okay, thank you. Now this next batch, I never know how far I'm going to go. With all graduates who are at least 25 years old, please stand. At least 25, please stand. All right. Now, with anyone who is at least 35, please remain standing. You see where this is going? Some people always give me dirty looks. Okay. With any graduate who is at least 50 years old, please remain standing. And I'm not sure if this will winnow out everyone else. With all graduates who are at least 60, please remain standing. All right. Thank you. I won't go any higher. Will all of our graduates who are married please stand? Currently married. Thank you. Will all graduates who have children please stand? Thank you. Will all graduates who are a single parent please stand? I'm afraid to ask this one. Will any graduates who have grandchildren please stand? All right. Just glad to see that we had some. Sometimes I get no response on that. And then all right. I'm not sure about any of these, but I'm just going to check. Do we have any graduates who are graduating with a sibling tonight? All right. All right. Did you notice they're not sitting together? Do we have any parents who are graduating with their children this evening? No. Oh, darn, that's a fun one. Would any graduate who was the first person in their entire family to graduate college please stand? Thank you. And finally, with all graduates who are active duty or veterans of our armed forces, please stand. Thank you. Oh, I love that. Gives me chills every year. At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce tonight's guest speaker, Mr. Alan White. And if you'll bear with me, I'd like to read a brief biography. Try to embellish here and there so it's not just straight from the program. Alan White retired recently after a 30-year career in law enforcement. During his career, he received many honors, including vocational service, professional excellence, multiple Officer of the Year awards, expert marksmanship, bravery above and beyond the call of duty, meritorious service and valor. His distinguished career has taken him to 3 police agencies in 2 states. He's written 4 internationally distributed books: Alaska Behind Blue Eyes, Standing Ground, Promise Not to Tell, and In Sheep's Clothing. His other writings have appeared in several magazines and across the internet, and he's currently working on 2 more books. Officer White is also a professional speaker, travels speaking to a variety of audiences on subjects ranging from child sexual abuse investigations, motivational, inspirational programs, and even stand-up comedy. We'll see which one we get tonight. He's also one of the 9 owners of the world-famous Cops and Donuts bakeries. Yeah, I'm partial to the maple bacon, so if we could have a few of those shipped to my house. He's also been a landscape contractor, small business owner, emergency room specialist, paramedic, college instructor, chemical weapons trainer, school safety consultant, reserve department director, political candidate, and professional animal skinner. That's a resume right there. Officer White's other interests include fly fishing, upland bird hunting, classical music, classic literature, and thinking about fly fishing. He and his wife Annette live along a trout stream with their two overly energetic wire hair pointers. Their son John is a senior master sergeant in the United States Air Force, and their daughter Jennifer is a financial business executive. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Mr. Alan White.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quinn. Thank you very much for having me here. Board of Directors, Board of Trustees, honored guests. It's an honor to be here tonight. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about Alaska, diamonds, eagles, and squirrels. And believe it or not, I'm going to make all that understandable. Like many of you, I was once young, had some education, and one day looked around at my life and said to myself, I have got to get out of here. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I just knew I wanted to be successful, and I was not going to be successful in Clare, Michigan. How could I? Clare is a town of 3,000 people that everybody else seems to drive by on the freeway on their way somewhere else. I wanted to seek my fortune, but where? And then I thought, how about someplace with good fishing and beautiful mountains? I had pretty simple needs back then. And then it hit me. Alaska. Just the name sounds adventurous, doesn't it? Alaska. So much more intriguing than Iowa. Don't worry about me, Mom. I'm off to the wilds of Des Moines. By the way, this particular period of my life I refer to as my quarter-life crisis. If you don't know what a quarter-life crisis is, a midlife crisis is where a middle-aged man sells his pickup truck and buys a sports car. A quarter-life crisis, I sold my sports car, bought a truck, and moved to Alaska. The problem is the only thing I really knew how to do at that point in my life was to be a cop. But I was comforted in the fact that they probably had criminals in Alaska too, and they probably needed cops. And so I sent a resume and cover letter to every police department in the state of Alaska. At the time, I think there was 23. And it turned out that the city of Skagway needed a police officer as much as I needed to leave Clare, Michigan. And the two of us got together, and I was hired. I knew that Skagway would have everything I needed. It had rivers to fish, people to arrest, and best of all, it was thousands of miles away from Clare, Michigan. So I went. And I had some great experiences, and I caught some fish, and I arrested some people. But I came to understand that the people here in Skagway were no really different than the people back in Clare, Michigan, and the fishing was good. It was no better, however, than the trout streams of Michigan. The people that I helped in Alaska, I helped in the same ways that I helped people back in Clare, Michigan, and the people I arrested in Alaska did about the same thing as the people in Clare, Michigan, except they did it under the watch of mountains. And in Michigan, I was never stalked by a grizzly bear. I can't say that about Alaska. And what I finally came to understand is that I had traveled thousands of miles from home seeking something that I could have found in Clare, Michigan had I only looked, because sometimes you have to travel very far to find where home really is. And I got thinking about a story that I read years ago about a man who left his farm in Africa, sold his farm, and decided to go out into the world and seek his fortune, and found nothing, only to find out that the farm he sold was one of the richest diamond deposits on the earth. It was all right there, but he had to go elsewhere. Each of you right now, whether you know it or not, is standing in your own field of diamonds. Your challenge is diamonds in the rough don't look like diamonds. Neither does steel or copper, or often opportunities. I'm asking that you explore where you already live. There are opportunities all around you right now, and by taking time and looking, you will see riches all around you. Look for opportunities in the work that you do. Don't run from job to job trying to find one that's going to make you happy. Work on finding the riches in the work that you have. If you're not finding the right opportunities, perhaps it's because you can't see it. If people discourage you in your quest, and many will, realize that you're talking to the wrong people. Opportunities come dressed in work clothes. Every one of you has an ability to exceed at something. You just need to look for diamonds in the rough and find opportunities and polish them. Living in Alaska, arguably the most beautiful place on earth, I came to understand that no matter how beautiful Alaska was, it was never going to be home. So I tapped my ruby slippers together and I came back to Clare, where I was determined to look for opportunities for success, even as a cop. And one day I heard that Clare's only bakery, the only place in town that made donuts, was going to close. And if you're a cop, that's really depressing news. Because I will tell you, the stereotype is not just marketing. We do like donuts. And I was a cop, and I had cop friends on the department, and we liked donuts, and what we saw was a marketing opportunity. And almost everyone thought we were nuts. It'll never work, they said. The bakery's been there since 1896. And it's failing. Why would you buy a failing business? What's going to happen when the novelty wears off? But we knew we had found a diamond in the rough. Less than 10 years later, we now have 5 locations and over 70 employees. And every year, in excess of 500,000 people get off the exit in Clare and visit our downtown. A bunch of cops found acres of diamonds in their hometown, and you can too. The opportunities are there to be found. You see, us cops just had to let go of our nervousness and our apprehension and turn a found opportunity into success. But letting go of what you're used to can be difficult. In fact, hanging on to your doubts and fears is the easy thing to do. When I came back from Alaska, I brought back some good stories, but there's one I want to share with you today. In Skagway, Alaska, we had lots of eagles, bald eagles. And I mean a lot of eagles. I mean like a half a dozen perched in the black spruce tree out front of my house. I mean, so many eagles, nobody in town had a small dog. So here's my eagle story. It was one of these really lousy days in March, my first March in Alaska. And Skagway was at sea level and it was raining, which it did most of the year. And I was bored out of my mind. I was driving a 1984 AMC station wagon patrol car, possibly the worst vehicle ever made. And I decided to get out of town. Now, there's only 2 ways out of town, and one was on a dirt road that went 13 miles up into the mountains and overlooked the ocean. And I thought this would be a good day to take a drive. The only problem is when I reached about 1,500 feet in elevation, the rain turned to freezing rain, and the gravel road was extremely slick, and it was too narrow to turn around on and there are no guardrails in Skagway, Alaska. On one side of the road, as I was coming up to the crest of this hill about to go down, is a sheer rock wall. And on the other side of the road is a 200 vertical drop to the ocean and rocks below. And I'm now going down this hill, and I don't dare touch the brakes. And at the base of the hill is an eagle, sitting in the middle of the road, pecking at a dead squirrel. The squirrel is frozen into the road. I start down the hill. I don't think there's enough room to go to the right of the eagle. There's certainly not enough room to go to the left. And I'm hoping that the eagle will just fly away. And indeed, when it looked up and saw 2,000 pounds of Detroit steel coming down the road, it did in fact try to fly away, but it held on to that squirrel. It was not going to let go of that squirrel. And as I got closer, and the eagle started flapping harder, and I started yelling at the eagle, "Drop your squirrel!" And the eagle tried, and I yelled, "Drop your squirrel, drop your squirrel," and I thought, I'm going to run over a bald eagle, and there's nothing I can do about it. And in the end, I made it by the eagle. There wasn't a micron between his wing and my fender of the 84 AMC. And the eagle was already back to feeding on the squirrel as I looked in my rearview mirror. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, gee, Officer White, that's a great story. What does it have to do with me? Well, I'm about to ask you a question that you never dreamed that anybody was going to ask you tonight. What are your squirrels? In other words, what are the things that you're holding on to only because you're afraid to let them go? Holding on to the familiar, even if it's not helping you grow, even if it actually is holding you back, even if it's even dangerous, is common. There is comfort in routine. There is comfort in what is familiar, even if you know you could do better. Kirtland class of 2019, you have squirrels. And I have squirrels, and everybody has squirrels. If you ever didn't want to try something new because you were afraid you were going to fail, that's a squirrel. If you ever kept a friendship that you knew was unhealthy, but you didn't want to hurt feelings or risk being lonely, that's a squirrel. If you ever wanted to go into a particular career field, but you didn't think you were good enough, that's a squirrel. If you give in to peer pressure because it's easier than saying no, you have a squirrel. If you fear rejection, that's a squirrel. If you fear failure, that's a squirrel. If you fear success, and that's more common than you think, you have a squirrel. You see, successful people are squirrel droppers. They know that in order to soar, they have to have faith of letting go of what's holding them back. You only need to look at historical figures to identify the squirrel droppers among us. George Washington, squirrel dropper. Abraham Lincoln, Neil Armstrong, squirrel dropper. Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Thomas Edison, they were all squirrel droppers. I want you to look for the squirrels inside you. Look for what you're holding on to that's holding you back. Look for what is keeping you from flying. I want you all to be squirrel droppers. So the next time you're driving and see a squished squirrel on the road, you'll think about this talk. The next time you see a squirrel darting across the road, well, don't run it over, but think of a squirrel that you too should let go. And in closing today, Kirtland class of 2019, go forth and do good things, use good judgment, bring happiness to others and yourself, and drop your squirrels. Thank you.
Officer White, one more thing. On behalf of the college, we'd like to present you with this plaque to thank you for being our guest speaker tonight, and I'll try not to drop it like a squirrel.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Kept thinking of the dog from the movie Up. Squirrel. All right. Next, I'm pleased to welcome to the stage the 2019 Outstanding Alumnus of the Year, Cheryl Holliday, if you'd like to come up here, please. While Cheryl's walking her way up here, I'd like to read a brief bio of Cheryl. I will mention when she gets up here, this will not be the first time that Cheryl and I have shared this stage. 16 years ago, I think it was. 16 years ago we shared the stage. I won't say any more about it, but I'm bringing her back up here because she's receiving this year's Outstanding Alumnus Award, which is given every year to someone who represents professional accomplishments, involvement in the community, leadership, supportive education. And I'll just read a brief snippet of the biography before she prepares her speech. Cheryl attended Kirtland and earned her associate degree in liberal arts while working full-time. You probably know her best as a reporter for the Houghton Lake Resorter newspaper. She's received several awards given by the Michigan Press Association. She considers it a point of pride to have educated herself and through her profession now contributes to the ongoing education of many others. She gives back to her community in a variety of important ways. She covers issues from education to government, courts to high school sports and her job as a reporter. She shares human interest stories of the people of Roscommon County. She advocates for the less fortunate, the sick, those in need. It's really difficult to estimate the number of lives that Cheryl's touched and impacted during her career. She also continues to impact the community through volunteerism. She has volunteered countless hours to activities including Relay for Life, Tip Uptown, where she was the Tip Uptown Queen in 2002, acting as an advisor to the Houghton Lake High School Band's Flag Corps, on and off the Pom Pom Squad for over 25 years, and every Friday morning she can be found reading to first graders at Collins Elementary. Cheryl lives in Roscommon County. She has one daughter, Jennifer, who's now 28 years old. She's proud to say that her daughter attended her mom's graduation from Kirtland in 2001. And now I'm pleased to recognize our outstanding alumnus, Cheryl Holliday. I'm going to give you the plaque anyway. She won't take the plaque.
Thank you,
Give it to her
Mr.
later.
Thiel. Thank you, the Board of Trustees and Dr. Quinn. I'd also like to thank my editor, Eric Hamp, for nominating me. And knowing some of the previous honorees, I am in good company, and I'm very humbled by the honor. The first time I stepped across this stage was to receive my Associate of Arts degree in 2001, when I think some of you were about 2 years old, so I'm feeling pretty old right now. But I must have missed Kirtland because in 2003 I came back for a community theater production of Hamlet. And then in December of 2017, I was part of a radio production of It's a Wonderful Life. And both gave me a chance to make contributions toward some fun projects that I got to meet some new people too, but Mr. Thiel was incidentally in both of those productions with me. So, volunteering was one of the first things I did when I moved up north from Waterford. I reached out to see if I could be of help to the Houghton Lake High School marching band. It turned out to be a lot of work, but it was always a lot of fun. Long after it helped me to settle into my new hometown. Now, you might not feel like doing more work right now, but at some point, if you're not already doing so, I hope you can carve out some time to give back. You're about to spend a lot of time in the workforce. Spend some of your time outside of work, doing something that you enjoy that will also benefit others. It's an education in itself. My education at Kirtland began with a conversation I had with John Lacano in 1989. John was the head of the Contracting with Business and Industry program. He had asked me what I was interested in, and I told him I had always wanted to be a DJ. So before I knew it, I was enrolled in classes like speech, music appreciation, and advertising. Some of my classes were covered by my employer at the time. I was a part-time bank teller, and I had time to go to school. Eventually, after receiving my one-year certificate and working at a local radio station, I decided to continue my education. By then, I had an addition to my family, my daughter, Jennifer. She's over there. She was this tall. And I was working full-time at the resorter at that time, so I had decidedly less time. But with the encouragement of Tom Hamp, who was my editor then, he let me take classes during the workday, and he supported my professional development, and he's right over there. I also got support from my coworker, the late Glenn Schicker, who taught English here at Kirtland. And I got support from another fellow coworker, Tom Resnich. And John Thompson was instrumental in my securing some scholarship money. And with their help, I made it through. And looking back, I remember hiking up that hill from the east parking lot that is no longer there, and just to make it to class in time, going from work to class to work. I remember my favorite class, nature study, taught by Denise Kemp, and how we camped in the UP for credit. It was awesome. And I remember my toughest class with Tom Dale. He taught biology, and for some reason, his was the one class that I took as an honors class. And it was tough. I don't know why I did that. I think I got a B-, which I was very happy with. And I remember the day in Mr. Toprak's international relations class, bursting out in laughter when he told us we had to write a book report on top of our regular classwork, even though he reassured me it was on the syllabus. I didn't mean to be disrespectful, but in that moment, I just couldn't figure out how I was going to make time to not only read the book, but also write about it. And somehow, I made the time. I'm sure you can relate to that feeling of being overwhelmed. Like me, you may have taken classes while holding down a full-time job and raising a child or two or more, balancing all the different parts of your life to achieve your goal. Finishing my 2-year degree often seemed like a faraway dream. After all, it did take me 12 years. 12. But, like you, I kept going, usually by taking one class a semester. I stuck it out, and with support, like 2 different algebra tutors, I was able to complete my requirements, graduate, and celebrate. I had to take 3 algebra classes because the first 2 did not count for credit. I write for a living, and I was doing math I had never done before. I was so excited to finally graduate, I threw myself a party. In order to attend classes, you may have left your job early twice a week or got yet another babysitter. You studied and read. You finished your labs, and you took that final exam. You did it. Even if you took some or all of your classes online, I'm sure you know that Kirtland classes are not easy. Kirtland has excellent instructors, including Mr. Thiel, who was my history teacher. And they have a variety of rigorous programs, especially since the new Health Sciences Center was built. As you look toward your future today, take a moment to look back where you were when you started your journey. When you see a former instructor, thank him or her for the positive influence that he or she has had on your education. Thank your family for going through it with you. And remember to thank yourself for the investment that you made. Take pride in your achievements. You worked for them. In closing, you may have achieved your desired certification today. You may already be a member of a professional organization or association based on your achievements at Kirtland, or you may plan to continue your education at a 4-year college. But I hope that as you settle into a new job or a town or a new life, remember to give back to anyone you might be able to help along the way, as Tom Hamp, my former editor, helped me. Thank you, Tom. I hope you make the time to volunteer in your community, whether it's coaching your kids' soccer team or joining a community organization like Rotary or helping out at Relay for Life, or even being part of a community theater production, whatever your interests may be. Be a part of your community wherever you are in life. After all, community is in your school's name. Whatever your future holds, I hope you are proud to be a Kirtland Community College graduate. I know I am.
Okay, we'll try this again. Cheryl, we'd like to present you with this plaque on behalf of the college, the board, the administration, the faculty, and staff. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to award an honorary degree to a valued supporter and great friend of Kirtland Community College. Mr. Bill Cusey, could you join me please at the podium for an introduction? William E. Cusey Sr. was born in Omer, Michigan, and has lived near the community of Mile for 52 years. He graduated from Standish High School in 1946. Bill worked in the Michigan State Park System for 34 years, where he became a supervisor and leader in the system. Bill told me that during those 34 years, he never used a single day of sick leave. This is testimony to his dedication to his career in the state of Michigan and his strong work ethic. Conversations with Bill have taught me that he is very proud of his children and grandchildren. He met his wife Marietta in 1949, was married in 1950, and they shared 68 wonderful years together. They enjoyed traveling, ballroom and square dancing, and raised 5 children: Nancy, William, Lori, Nina, and Karen. And some of them are here, along with, I understand today, a granddaughter and possibly a great-grandson. Would that be correct?
That's correct, the 5th grandson, great-grandson.
Okay. So, if you'd stand up, let's say hi. Bill has been a student at Kirtland and at other institutions. His wife, Marietta, and get this, all 5 children received degrees at Kirtland, and all were honor students. Let's hear a round of applause for that one. Bill has said that while he traveled a great deal, Mile is the place he calls home. I lived a good life, he said, and I'm deeply rooted in Oscoda County. I'm very proud to have been able to spend 52 years in such a wonderful community. Kirtland has been a big part of the Cusey family history and their legacy. Because of his contributions to Michigan and to the state and to Kirtland, William E. Cusey Sr. becomes the first person in our 53-year history to receive an honorary Associate in Science and Arts degree from the college. William, it is now my honor to present you with the Honorary Associate in Science and Arts degree.
Wow! I can say wow, but that's good.
Okay, if I may, for just a second here, the Board of Trustees of Kirtland Community College, upon recommendation of the faculty, does hereby confer upon William E. Cusey Sr. the honorary degree of Associate in Science and Arts. Once again, folks, please join me in a round of applause.
I'd like to say a few words, if you don't mind. Could I say- With this great honor, there's one out of 1,000 things that I cherish the most, and that is this college. It was give me the opportunity to send my children here, and they didn't have to. What I told them was that I'll pay their room and board and their tuition if they go to Kirtland for 2 years. And everyone went to Kirtland, and so did my wife, and she graduated summa cum laude with her youngest daughter.
Will the candidates please rise? Dr. Quinn, I present to you the class of 2019.
Ladies and gentlemen of the graduating class of 2019, upon successful completion of the requirements for graduation, and by the authority of the laws of the state of Michigan, and the powers vested in my office from the Board of Trustees of this college, I hereby confer upon you the degrees and certificates you have earned.
Class, please be seated. First row, please rise. Marshals, will you escort them to the stage?
As you all approach the stage, I'd like to apologize in advance if I mispronounce anyone's name. As big of a night as this is for you, I'd hate to ruin it. Please bear with me. Haley Marie Eames, Associate in Applied Science Nursing, magna cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Nicole Nakowski, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Ashley Ann Schichtel, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Jennifer Green, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing, summa cum laude. Julianne Deborah Zettel with Jack's Augustus Service Animal, Cosmetology Certificate of Completion. Megan Trebold, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Rosario Bowker, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing, magna cum laude. Emily Ann McBratney, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Kendra Bryan, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing, cum laude. Trisha Kubant, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing, magna cum laude. Jalen Quader, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Michelle Marie Schenk, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Caitlin Fitzgerald, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Colleen Marie McCutcheon, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Sarah Elizabeth Brown, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Sierra Mack Shaw, Esthetician Special Certificate, magna cum laude. Savannah Michelle McCall, Cosmetology Certificate of Completion, magna cum laude. Nikita Schul, Cosmetology Certificate of Completion, magna cum laude. Emily Reichert, Associate in Science and Arts. Amanda Joyce Papke, Associate in Applied Science, Administrative Assistant, magna cum laude. Seth Kenneth Norton King, Associate in Science and Arts, summa cum laude. Christina K. Papke, Associate in Applied Science, Administrative Assistant, summa cum laude. Lydia Shea Wagner, Associate in Accounting. Kelly Lynn Sauty, Associate in Applied Science, Technology Management. BJ Van Wormer, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion. Caitlin Nicole Larson, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion. Heather J. Love, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion. Lacey R. Nissen, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion. Jessica Alcorn, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Kelsey Banak, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Caitlin Sarsfield, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Traft Abbott, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Gabrielle Rose, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Marissa Lauren Crowley, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Tasha Kraus, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Jamie Lynn Krieger, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion, summa cum laude. Amber Jean DRC, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion. Jordan Alexi Bowl, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion. Elizabeth Ann Bates, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion. Brenda K. Bartel, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Jennifer Christine Klupp. Oh, sorry. I saw the, sorry. I can't read tonight. My apologies. Jenna Christine Klupp, Medical Assistant, Certificate of Completion, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Charity Marie Willis, Surgical Technology, Certificate of Completion, magna cum laude. Sky E. Page, Associate in Applied Science, Surgical Technology, Certificate of Completion, cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Connie Renee Mayhew Ear, Associate in Applied Science, Cardiac Sonography. Jeremy B. Ryan, Associate in Applied Science, Mechatronics Facilities Technician. Associate in Applied Science, Electrical Technology, cum laude. Misty Silvis, Associate in Arts. Matthew J. Carlew, Associate in Science and Arts, magna cum laude. Anastasia Bragg, Associate in Applied Science Nursing, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Rita Mae Watkins, Associate in Applied Science Nursing, cum laude. I'm keeping it in order. Angela Grace Delph, Associate in Applied Science Nursing. Anthony Bertassi, Associate in Applied Science Nursing. Taylor K. Manx, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion, cum laude. Alexandria Ray Kleppy, Associate in Applied Science, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion. Haley Denstedt, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion. Cami Michelle Eimer, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion. Sierra Snyder, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion, magna cum laude. Hannah Lorraine Materna, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion. Emily Marie Meadows, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion, cum laude. Heather Govitz, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion. Monica Stahl, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion. Hunter Carolyn Plunkett, Cosmetology Certificate of Completion. Catherine Jameson, Cosmetology Certificate of Completion. Whitney Rose, Associate in Applied Science, Business Management, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Holly Loa Holm, Associate in Science and Arts, cum laude. Dawn Marie Hubbard, Associate in Applied Science, Cardiac Sonography. Brianna Hepner, Associate in Applied Science, Cardiac Sonography. Kelly Ann Hopp, Associate in Applied Science, Cardiac Sonography. Alyssa Ray Burgee, Associate in Applied Science, Cardiac Sonography. Bailey K. Semkoviak, Associate in Applied Science, Cardiac Sonography, summa cum laude. Christopher Guy Powell, Associate in Applied Science, Surgical Technology Certificate of Completion. Kylie Holberton, Surgical Technology, Certificate of Completion. Jessica Nicole Whitman Hopp, Associate in Science and Arts. Raven Nicole Seibel, Associate in Applied Science, Business Management. Carla Sue Brim, Associate in Applied Science, Technology Management, magna cum laude. Jory L. Bonnell, Associate in Applied Science, Administrative Assistant. Melissa Eileen Stothard, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Chelsea Lynn Richard, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Samantha Brooke Patterson, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing. Kristen Lynn Wakefield, Associate in Applied Science, Nursing, Phi Theta Kappa. CJ James Yoder, Associate in Applied Science, Automotive Technology, Automotive Technology Master Certification, Certificate of Completion, Automotive Technology Diesel Service Specialist, Certificate of Completion. William C. Fench, Associate in Applied Science, Automotive Technology, Automotive Technology Master Certification, Certificate of Completion, Automotive Technology Diesel Service Specialist, Certificate of Completion, magna cum laude. Joshua M. Warren, Welding and Fabricating, Certificate of Completion, magna cum laude. Jonathan Rice, Welding and Fabricating, Certificate of Completion, cum laude. John Sebastian Church, Associate in Science and Arts, summa cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Zachary Dalton, Associate in Science and Arts, cum laude. Megan Marie Boyer, Associate in Business Administration, Associate in Science and Arts, magna cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Heather M. Rump, Associate in Applied Science, Health Information Technology. Lacey Zielinski, Associate in Accounting. Courtney Kathleen Boyd, Associate in Applied Science, Cosmetology, Cosmetology Certificate of Completion, magna cum laude. Tia Turpening, Associate in Science and Arts. Ryan Patrick Stevens, Jr., Associate in Business Administration, magna cum laude, Phi Theta Kappa. Darcy Lynn Eckler, Associate in Arts. Rachel Lynn Tillman, Associate in Science and Arts. It's always so much fun to read the names. I lost count of how many students I was introduced to for the first time tonight when they handed me the card, and they were in online classes of mine, and I just got to meet you for the first time tonight, so that's cool. all the I'm supposed to say, will the class of 2019 please rise, but you guys are ready to go. You're already standing. It's green. You're this pumped. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, one of my favorite parts of the evening, the first sign that this really happened. See these mortar boards you're wearing, which I think tonight set the all-time record for the most decorated mortar boards that we saw. So congratulations, those were awesome. Take the tassel on your mortar board, move it to the other side. You're officially a graduate. Just don't throw them in the air because they look too nice. We don't want to ruin all those nice decorations you have. That's great. All right. One more time before the ceremony officially comes to a close, I'd like to give all of these amazing, talented graduates one final round of applause, please. Couple quick comments before we begin the evening's recessional. With all the guests in the auditorium, please remain seated through the entire recessional. Once you're released, graduates, please exit the building all the way outside. It's not raining, it's not snowing, because this isn't the UP, so it's comfortable out there. And wait for your family and friends to join you outside. Once the auditorium is completely cleared, if you want to come back in, take photos on the stage to celebrate your achievements, you're welcome to do that. Again, congratulations, class of 2019.